Hi guys, welcome back to the live stream here at Proof of Talk. My name is Gareth Jenkinson, I'm the head of multimedia at Cointelegraph. It's been a fantastic pleasure to be hosting this live stream throughout the last 2 days here at this event in the heart of Paris. We've chatted to a lot of big founders, a lot of big names in the industry, and we're actually coming to you now on the live stream with an exclusive, very exciting announcement between Peaq and Pulsar coming out of the UAE, something that I think is really, really exciting for the space in general. Before we get started, I want to encourage you, if you're watching the live stream, to drop some questions. We will pose them to Till and Karen as the conversation goes on. Till, welcome to the show. It's great to finally meet you in person, because some of my teammates have spent some time integrating and talking with Peaq over the years. Tell us, first of all, about Peaq, for those viewers out there that don't know what Peaq is, and then we'll get into the announcement after that.
Yeah, hi. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Till, one of the founders of Peaq, which is a layer one for the machine economy in a broader scale, but obviously that includes lots of different parts, such as DePIN, but then also decentralized physical AI, financial aspects such as machine DeFi. Yeah, and pleasure to be here today.
Let's talk about this announcement, because there's quite a lot to unpack. But the long and short, the UAE is opening up a new special zone, and they're going to start exploring and using your infrastructure and blockchain-based payment systems to power DePINs in general. But you can probably explain a lot better than that, so please do.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on this, has been in the making for quite some time. I think the first time also we got in touch, that was approximately a year, if not even longer, some longer time ago. And yeah, there we really started to elaborate and understand how Peaq can benefit the UAE and also vice versa. And when it comes to building a machine economy, then that obviously also involves physical machines, right? And they need to be somewhere. They also need to be at a physical location. And when we're thinking about the UAE as one of the most advanced, if not even the most advanced place in the world. Also when we're looking at smart city development and yeah, everything around improving the quality of life of the people, then that's a great place to start. And I think today we are super excited to finally unveil what we've been working on, which is basically the machine economy free zone in the Emirates.
Karen, I'm going to bring you in here. Maybe you can chat a bit about Pulsar and how this partnership came together.
Sure, thank you first. Pleasure to be here. So Pulsar is a venture studio based in Abu Dhabi. We support companies such as Peaq with founders with long-term vision who wants to come to the UAE and deploy their technology into the government. We see the UAE is actually pioneering in the Web3. I don't know if you saw recently, but actually Dubai announced that they are going to be the first city in the world to tokenize real estate assets, right? And I think it's very interesting to see how the government always think of what's next. And therefore, we actually decided to support Peaq as part of our portfolio companies. We also support Solana and eToro and few other very interesting and pioneering companies. And we're very excited to see what Peaq can actually bring to the UAE.
How much did you connect the dots to make this happen? Because I mean, like a machine economy free zone sounds super exciting.
So, I think when it comes to the UAE, sometimes for founders, it's quite confusing how to navigate, right? And that's where Pulsar come into the picture. We support them, we help them to build the products, and we actually help them to adopt their services into the governmental services.
So I'm going to throw it back to you. In terms of Peaq, the evolution of the protocol itself, the different use cases that have evolved over time. Talk us a bit about that, like what the idea was originally versus what Peaq is today, and then we can touch on this machine economy free zone and what that's going to look like in 5 years.
Yeah, happy to. I mean, there's a long history around Peaq. It's been a rough journey, so even more excited to see where we stand today, and now also rolling this out on a nationwide level. But yeah, it really goes back to, I would say, approximately 2016, 2017, the first wave of the ICOs, where we had the first ideas of a real decentralized machine economy, like really enabling different machines to not only communicate between each other, but then also to exchange value, logics. But yeah, at that time, a lot of the infrastructure wasn't really ready, so we went a lot into enterprise development. We basically built DePINs, if you want, on an enterprise scale with large machine manufacturers. We built pay-per-use models for machine leasing, larger asset value machines. We built a decentralized charging application with the Volkswagen Group, involving the different brands, also being able to communicate between charger and vehicles. And that really gave us the requirements for Peaq as it is today, where we realized, okay, we should be able to enable others building those, as we call them today, DePINs. And as of today, we have around 65 of them on top of Peaq. We now see a lot of also decentralized physical AI applications coming on Peaq. Yeah. We see machine DeFi evolving on Peaq as a very interesting concept. Really as a financial aspect to this machine economy. And we see around 7.5 million, 8 million machines around the ecosystem. A lot of them are on chain already, and more and more joining every day. And it goes from all kinds of devices, be it sensor data from weather stations up to real robots, autonomous robots on top of the network. As I said, charging stations, all kinds of.
I would like to add on that, for us, what we see that is super interesting to actually explore and to brainstorm around is how actually to engage the citizens of the country to really engage and to be part of this machine economy, right? Mm-hmm. If they can actually invest or buy a part of a machine that makes coffee or whatever it is, right? But and to generate income and yield out of it, I think it's super interesting, and I definitely believe that it can actually happen in the UAE.
Yeah. I've been to the UAE many times, and nowhere is as fast moving and innovative as that. And I guess that's my next question. What does the future look like for this machine economy zone? How are people going to be using Peaq? What will that experience be like for people in a smart city that's powered by this infrastructure?
Yeah, I think we can really break that down, first of all, into four core pillars. One of them is regulation. The other one is the deployment itself, but then also innovation and investment. And in a nutshell, when it comes to the regulation part, we'll be working a lot in the direction of machine RWAs. We've seen the UAE being very advanced when it comes to, for example, tokenization of real estate. Now taking that on a different level, like autonomous machines, robots. That's one of the larger keystones in this initiative. Obviously, also other regulatory topics, but really working there also thanks to Pulsar, trying to really work with the regulators on that. Yeah. And when it comes to the deployment part, right? We see a lot of DePINs building on Peaq now. Some of them are also data DePINs, but also resource DePINs. There's nothing more valuable than making data accessible for smart cities. And then also in the future, when you have autonomous machines in the cities, they need to coordinate, they need to navigate, and being able to access that data. And we finding the right ways and having that zone where where projects and DePINs can come. Robotics companies can deploy those machines without thinking about too much about certain topics. Yeah. And then innovation. Really building an innovation hub together also with Pulsar, and investment obviously also tapping into those visionary investments.
Karen, maybe you can just chat a little bit about the vision for a machine economy zone and what the UAE wants that to be in 5 years.
So I think, since the UAE is so advanced in their thinking and their adoption and open minds, in terms of how to bring more products, I think it's a great environment for Peaq to try and to experiment it, right? I think for any other project who has a long-term vision as well, to come to the UAE and to see how they can actually adopt. The government is very open to help and to see how they can actually adopt, and because of that they actually make I think every quarter or so, around tables, around different topics, in order to hear more ideas. And obviously with the DePIN, we aim to also create this kind of brainstorming sessions with more founders, with more companies, with more DePIN companies, to see how we can actually support them. And I think that's the best environment for them to be in, right? So you mentioned that you were in the UAE. It's funny because anyone that I met who came to the UAE, they come with exactly the same experience and expression towards the UAE. So it's very exciting. I think it's going to be great. And I'm sure we will be here in 5 years down the line, and we will see many robot cafe and many other places.
Have an interview with our humanoids, right?
Exactly. Someone's going to take my job. Till, I'm going to throw a few questions your way just from the live stream. One of them coming here from Zero Trust Tony. You talk about autonomy for machines, but who governs the code running them? Can you talk a bit more about like Peaq and the protocol and autonomous machines and why you actually need infrastructure that allows them to do what they do autonomously?
Yeah. So when we're looking at Peaq, then we built that for a reason as an own layer 1 network, because we really focused also a lot on making sure that we have an actual layer of trust between all those different machines, devices, robots, which includes then also aligning on identity standards, for example, self-sovereign machine identity standards, aligning on universal machine time so that the machines can really sync and communicate and exchange, and access and all these kind of logics that are coming with it. And that's why we built Peaq in a way that everything is executed in a runtime. You don't need applications building all their own smart contracts and so on, which then need to synchronize again and need to be upgraded when there is a new identity standard or something. So really everything is happening on a protocol level, and that's the foundation for all of the different DePINs and applications on top. Is
there a short-term, medium-term sort of roadmap for how the infrastructure is going to be used and how this zone will start using different applications to be a smart city, let devices collect data, do X, Y, Z? Maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Now specifically in the Emirates, or sorry?
Yeah, in the machine economy zone itself. Yeah.
I don't think we can go too much into the specifics now.
That's all right.
Unfortunately, I would love to because it's super exciting.
Yeah.
However, I do think we will see a lot of those devices and a lot of those machines literally being like on the streets in in different buildings and being able to be used.
Obviously, the release has just gone out, and I think if you're interested in reading that, it'll be online, so you can find it on the Cointelegraph website and a number of other news websites. But one of the interesting points that I found was, like, we're very much in the future now, right? I mean, like Elon Musk's, sort of autonomous robots moving around is a reality that everyone is going to see in the next 2 to 5 years, making that kind of technology accessible to people, making those devices autonomous, making them be able to, share data and do these kind of things. It seems like the possibilities are endless, and that's why you need to move so quickly to have the infrastructure to build this, right? Maybe you can talk about that vision.
Yeah, when it comes to the machine economy, it also comes a lot to composability, right? That those machines are able to identify each other, that they're able to exist in a trusted environment where they can exchange and communicate with one another, right?
Yep.
And I think now we really have a really solid foundation. That's why we also attracted a lot of builders building on top of Peaq. Now what we see also coming into the equation is not only the infrastructure with DePINs, but also intelligence, giving machines access to intelligence, but now also with machine DeFi, giving machines access to financial resources, a financial system. And we see that happening at lightning speed. If someone would have asked me about machine DeFi, where I was philosophizing about machine DeFi like 4 or 5 years ago, that you will be able to use a share in a tokenized robo-cafe in a delivery bot or whatsoever, in a borrowing and lending system, for example, right, as a real collateral, then I was like, that's 10 years away. But now we see that being all constructed on Peaq, And I think that's just super exciting for the next couple of months. Yeah, and then having a place also to roll this out, right?
Yeah. I've got a couple more questions from the live stream. How do you protect DePIN networks from being taken over by centralized telecoms or cloud providers? It's quite a complex question, but maybe you can unpack a little bit, maybe even just from a Peaq perspective, how that protocol works and how it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, taking over an entire token system, I think that's generally very difficult by its nature if it's, let's say, built up in a proper decentralized way. Because how do you buy the entire network, right? As soon as you start buying, you're also lifting up the price and like in larger scale. So I think that's generally a little bit more difficult. If someone could try to pay foundations to take the network, I think that's very, very difficult to do by the nature of Web3. But yeah, obviously we also try to have as many incentives in the system for projects to build, remain in the ecosystem. We have, for example, system pools, like pools that are inherited in the native protocol. So from every transaction that happens in the network, there's a part going into so-called machine subsidization pools, also DePIN staking pools, where we will empower systems like DePIN staking in the future to incentivize DePINs even more, machine subsidization to help them subsidizing new machines. Then the DeFi protocols are also plugging into these pools, filling those pools from a trading volume. So yeah, really trying to build up also a lot of protective mechanisms and incentive mechanisms around it.
My final question to you, just to wrap things up, when it comes to the Peaq ecosystem, what's your favorite application that you've seen in terms of how people have used Peaq?
Yeah, there's so many. Like, honestly, I don't want to shill just one of them. I even use them myself on a daily basis. Now we see also some of them tapping data DePINs, for example, tapping more and more into browser extensions, where it's very easy to just, use them on a daily basis. For example, one that I just used yesterday because I booked an Airbnb, I downloaded the browser extension from Silencio, and when you are on the Airbnb homepage, you can just switch it on and it shows you the noise level around your Airbnbs. And I'm someone that's very noise sensitive. So for me, that was like a real decision maker yesterday, to check all the noise data and understand that this is one of the Airbnbs that I rather want to book than the other.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I for those people out there that don't really understand, like the incentive for you being a part of Peaq's network and offering that data. So basically you download the Silencio app or whatever, or you connect to that. Your phone is picking up all the data of the sound and it's delivering that to that, and then someone like you who's the end user benefits. And if you're allowing your device to provide that data to the network, you get incentivized to do that, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And that's just one of many applications and many interesting hardware that's running on Peaq. There's more and more machinery coming with machine DeFi now, so where you're able to finance also larger asset machines. I think we'll see also a lot of more bigger machines on the network. And but that's one that I used yesterday, like literally
I like
for
that.
my own good,
I like that. I always want to hear about real use cases, and that's a prime example of that. Till, Kieran, thank you so much for your time. It's really exciting to hear about this machine economy free zone that's just been announced in the UAE. We will watch this as Cointelegraph with great interest, because I think you couldn't tell us too much, but we'll get more details as it goes on. But it's very cool to see DePIN projects like this driving ahead. So.
Thank you so much for inviting us, and I think we would love to welcome you as well to come and to see it in real life, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having us.
Our CEO lives and works in Dubai, so we'll touch base all fair, and we'll make that happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for watching this interview. We will keep them coming throughout the afternoon, so keep it locked here right at Proof of Talk in Paris. We are covering it live, Cointelegraph and Proof of Talk together. We'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes with the next conversation. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.